Hurricane Ike, September 13, 2008, everybody was on a level playing field because we all were devastated by Hurricane Ike. 75% of the island was flooded and everybody lost a lot. And everybody was in the same boat because it didn't make any difference how much money you had. You couldn't buy groceries, you couldn't buy gas, you couldn't flush your toilet. So we all were even on this island.
And Ike was scheduled to make landfall at about 1 o'clock a.m. when we started experiencing the wind and even the storm surge early.
We stayed right behind the beach, and we ran to the beach, and we were standing, and the waves were just going freaking everywhere.
That's way before the storm even came.
That was like 2 days before the storm came.
You seen the
if you saw that, like, I've never seen the seawall with the water level.
It's about over 30, 33, 34 years ago. Okay, and when Alicia hit, it flooded the island, but you probably got like 2 to 3 foot of water. And we were standing at projects then, and the water only came to our doorstep. And so then they declared martial law. They declared martial law, and after 6 o'clock, which when it got dark, nobody was allowed on the streets. Because they said, it'd be 17 days without lights, no water, no power, you know. So
the legendary Balinese room was destroyed, flagship. We lost a lot of history. And you know, the other big storm we had was a 1900 storm, but since then we lost a lot of history with the Ike.
Mm-hmm. And FEMA was going house to house, house to house, house to house. And because they knew that a lot of people stayed. They knew that a lot of elderly people stayed. So they were just going from house to house to seeing if people were alive, if people were dead. There were people died here. You know, people died here. They found people in their houses dead, I guess from drowning. You know, if we would have stayed down here, we would have been dead. Yeah, that's the truth. We'd have been dead. But FEMA started coming around, and they were putting their labels and stuff on however they read their labels, or they do their labels on the doors. So when it came out, the sign, her original sign, Selena's Blue Room, had broken and had flown in our yard. That's the first thing I noticed when I came outside the next morning before we left out. Seeing 3 different coffins had just floated up out of the ground. Coffins, and I was like, houses that just had fallen in, you know, could have been people in those houses that were dead. But that same day that we had left out, we also stopped by the community center here in Galveston on 47th and Broadway. That was the spot where the National Guard was, and they were giving out food and water and stuff, and giving us newspapers so we could see what was going on, because we didn't have no type of communication. Everything was just, you know, the power companies. So I'm thinking, yes, we're gonna get lights, you know what I'm saying? And this is like a week later. Oh my God, there's a power truck. We're like, and I kid you not, I'm all like, hey, we're up here, we need lights. Come fix our lights. Now, we're probably the last ones they were worried about eyes, because it wasn't the wind that destroyed the island, it was the water that destroyed the island. And the water, for some reason, the water that was the highest water we've ever had here. So I was thinking to myself then, that's a part of climate change. Public housing, you know, everybody knew everybody, you know, and if you did something wrong, the community, everybody, it was a close bond then, you know what I'm saying? As time went on, and then when Ike hit, it just took it all away. It's like that. There was a lot of violence with these projects, people getting killed and stuff, and drugs and everything. I think Ike helped them out, big time. Ike helped them out. It's quiet. You know, if the public housing was still here, you'll have kids playing, you know, riding their bicycles and playing. They're playing in the courtyard and stuff. You'll hear people playing their music in their apartments. You'll see people. Of course, you don't see anybody now because it's empty, but it's just totally different. It's totally different, and that's why I say I think I kept those out who didn't want these places here. I've had people that say that, no, I'm not going back to Galveston. I don't want to go back to Galveston. Thinking I've heard people say that they're going to go by your income. It's income based. That's what public housing was originally, is here, the way what it originally was. It was built based on your income. Now, I also heard that some of these places could run like $700 or $800 a month. Yeah, and if you didn't make a certain amount, then you wouldn't qualify to live here. I think deep down inside, I think they're deterring people from returning.
They're progressing, and we're still at a standstill. We're still waiting on the federal government. Same thing with Katrina.
Like he always tells me, God can take it in a second. So cherish what you have while you have it.